really we need to all be a bit more disciplined on our pay demands to get inflation down for all of us, for the whole country. The pay rise here, £30,000 for new starters, big increase for those on the lowest wages, less increase for on the higher. I think that is pretty much where the market is on pay at the moment. And these poor children, and I've got children who have suffered through COVID, as have many viewers. I think it's really hard for children to deal with any more deprivation in the classroom.
Let's speak to Patrick Roach, who's the General Secretary of the NASUWT union. So, Patrick, what would you say to Chris?
Well, I mean, can I say, firstly, that there's much that Chris says there that's really important and requires further reflection. Children have suffered huge disruption to their education during the course of the pandemic, but they're also continuing to suffer disruption as a result of the fact that we haven't got the teachers that we need. We're seeing a record increase, 62% increase in the number of unfilled vacancies within schools. That means that children are not being taught by teachers. We're seeing teachers leaving in droves. 75% of teachers are saying that they're seriously considering quitting the job, and over half, even according to the government's own figures, over half are saying that pay is a reason why they are leaving the profession. If we haven't got teachers in the classroom, that is bad for children's education, and that's a point that we've been making continuously to the government.
But if you put the pay rises up to the level of inflation, which is well over 10%, that is money, if that comes from the education budget, that comes out of schools. It comes out of facilities. It comes out of money spent on pupils, on food. It comes from the wrong place, doesn't it?
Well, the reality is that, you know, quality education for children and young people is nothing without teachers. That's a really valuable lesson, I think, that we all learned during the course of the pandemic when, you know, many schools had to close their doors to the vast majority of children and young people. But, you know, the facts are these, that even independent evidence confirms that teaching is now one of the lowest paid of all graduate occupations. The School Teachers Pay Review Body and the IFS have confirmed that experienced teachers are worse off than they were back in 2010. Our calculations indicate that, you know, the typical classroom teacher is now £50,000 worse off than they were in 2010 in real terms. That's having an impact on teacher morale, and it's forcing too many teachers out of the profession. So another pay cut this year in real terms, frankly, isn't going to help. It isn't going to help children and young people. It isn't going to keep teachers in the profession, and it isn't going to recruit more graduates into the profession.
Okay, well, we have the mum of a school pupil here, right?
And I'm a school governor.
Okay.
Well. Yeah.
And your son is 13, am I right? Daughter's 13.
Yeah, she turns 13 next month.
Right.
I'm also a school governor at another secondary school, not at the one that my daughter goes to. And I completely agree with everything that he's saying. We are seeing teachers leave in massive droves. Teaching is one of the most undervalued and under professions that we have in the UK, and constantly people say, you know, we need to have teachers because without the teachers children don't get taught. What we're finding as well, that we then don't have good quality teaching or good quality education that our young people and children are receiving because they're so overwhelmed with the amount of work that they have. You have teachers that get into work at around 7 a.m, school starts at say 8:30, school finishes at 3:30, and teachers aren't leaving then. Teachers are staying in to do planning,
yeah, but it's a money thing, isn't it? I mean, I hate to say it, but we just had a budget which crashed the economy because people could see that they were spending money they didn't have.